Greetings one and all, this is Rhythmworks and welcome to my channel, The Last of Us Remastered for the PS4. I finally got it after an extra day of waiting. It was my fault anyway, because usually when I pre-order games from Amazon, I pre-order through first class, and usually you have to pay for first class delivery when an item is made available, but with pre-order it's more or less free. But you know, in my anticipation for the game, I actually clicked on Super Saver, and when you click on the Super Saver method of delivery for the item, they can actually store that shit up to 4 days, but they actually stored it for 1 day. So I got to give Amazon credit. I mean, I was cussing at first, but then it's like, you know, they do stipulate what they stipulate in the terms and conditions that we hardly read, right? So there you go. Anyway, The Last of Us Remastered. I mean, The Last of Us as a game, what can I tell you about the game that I have not told you already, and that many millions of people have not told you already? I mean, 7 million people. Alright, there's nothing, so I'm not even going to try to go into the deepest recesses of my mind to try and find anything new. I just can't find nothing new. It's just a great game to play. But I'm not here to even, you know, gush my platitudes and my superlatives for this game. I'm just basically here to try and give you my findings on the game. Now, first of all, I think The Last of Us is probably the first game to define not only the PS3 generation, but the PS4 generation. It's probably the only game ever to have done that so far. The reason being that with the PS3, it actually engages us into a deep, weighty, meaty storyline with great gameplay. You know, single player, multiplayer. You know, it's the first multiplayer that Naughty Dog really took care of since the Uncharted franchise, which was really a big follow-up for them to do. You know, so they done that with great ease. But my findings with not only the game, but with people's habits on the game really kind of surprised me, and I'll tell you why. First of all, one thing I noticed about The Last of Us as a game is that quite a few people actually started playing the game on PS3 for some strange reason. I kind of anticipated people to make the jump from PS3 to just playing it on PS4, no question, forgetting about the PS3. I also expected people to actually jump consoles from Xbox 360 to PS4, or buying an Xbox One and buying a PS4 for the game as a PS4 exclusive. But like I said, the one thing I noticed was that a lot of people started playing the PS3 version. They actually bought the PS3 version. Another thing I noticed was that quite a few of the regular players started playing the game on PS3 again, which I thought was kind of odd. But then when I got into The Last of Us Remastered on the PS4, I kind of understood why. Now, the first thing I wanted to discover was the 60 frames per second rate of how the game moves, how the game plays, and what have you. And it's night and day. You know, it looks crisp, it looks fluid, it looks very beautiful. I didn't think that they could even make the game more beautiful looking. Also, you have a photo mode as well, where you can take any part of the single player story and take photographs from it. You know, you can move the camera, dolly it, field of depth of view, whatever you want to call those terms. At the moment, I just can't find the correct terms, but you know what I mean. The color, the saturation, the film grain effects, all of those things you can utilize to create in a perfect screenshot of your story mode, which I thought was a good feature as well. But another thing I noticed was that even with all those features and with the game running the way it basically ran, a lot more people was playing on the PS3. And I think it's because of this reason. When you actually start playing the PS4 version, it becomes apparent to you of the simple slog that you have to endure to get to the level where you once were. Now, for me, it's like I was no great level. I was 100 and, I don't know, I think it was 160 odd, 170 odd. But then when I went back into playing on the PS3, there were people like leveled up to like 600, 700 and shit. Now imagine going on the PS4 and starting that shit again. Exactly. And when I actually started playing the story mode, I felt a great sense of impatience in playing, which I know I shouldn't do because, you know, it is still a great story mode, story game. You know, the story is still good to play, but I just felt a great sense of impatience because I wanted the one extra loadout point for the multiplayer. Going into multiplayer, I must admit, I probably played like one match, tried to get on to many matches, could not find a single match after that. And it just became a little bit tiresome. But then, you know, the game's only been out for a couple of days and it's out on a now current gen console. So you have to kind of take those things into consideration. But the one decision that I've reached after playing both is that I'm gonna keep my PS3 version of The Last of Us. I find that for some reason it plays better. You know, I'm talking about it, the controller being in my hand, because I've got modded controllers, and I don't mean modded in the cheating scumbag kind of sense. I mean modded as in grips and triggers and what have you, modded in that kind of way. And you know, the controlling, although you can alternate between L1, R1 and L2 and R2 for the aim and fire buttons, I still stick to the standard default setting. And even though I stuck to the default setting on the PS4 version, I just found it difficult. But then as soon as I got into the PS3, it was like riding a bike again. I went around maps like nothing, you know. But there is time you got to give the game, and there is time you got to give the players who hasn't even played this game before to really enjoy it and hopefully, you know, populate the multiplayer in a good way. But right now, there's a whole lot of people that's actually bought the PS3 version and is playing that, and there's a whole lot more veteran players that are still playing the PS3. Whether they don't think it's enough reason for them to even go onto the PS4 to buy a PS4 to play the game, I don't know. But the one thing that remains conclusive is that The Last of Us is the game that defined 2 generations of consoles. Without question, absolutely. And it's a game that I will continue to play. Like I described in one of my other videos, The Last of Us Remastered is, you know, buying The Last of Us Remastered is like buying a Blu-ray version of your favorite movie that you had on DVD or VHS. It's as simple as that. And I will continue to play the game. But anyway, those are my findings, and thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed my little, I don't know, monologue, critique, praise, gushing of the game, if you like. And as usual, whatever the game, whatever the platform, whatever the console, whatever the genre, whatever the media you're playing the games on or with, happy gaming. And Magan.